Hey guys, welcome to this video. Today I thought I'll talk about all of the books that I read this month in May. And at the start of the year, I had set a goal for myself to read 25 books throughout the duration of this year. But in the first 4 months, I read only 4 books. So I thought that in May, I would step it up and read a lot more. So this month, I was able to read 5 books. So the first book is How to Do Nothing by Jenny Odell. This book, I don't know how to explain it properly, but basically it covers a bunch of different issues that all somewhat tie to the attention economy. So it starts off by talking about how we've dedicated our time and our energy to social media, and day by day, this means that we are able to engage less with each other and with our environment. But this also talks a lot about capitalism, it talks about bioregionalism. The book is very well researched, there are a lot of experiments, a lot of case studies, and a lot of the quotes that are referenced in the book are very interesting. But overall, I felt like it lacked something that tied the whole book together. It felt like it was a bunch of different essays that were closely related to the attention economy. The author, Jenny Odell, she's an artist, she's obviously very, very intelligent, and so I feel like the writing in some parts were difficult to understand. Maybe I'm not like intelligent enough, but I feel like if the writing was simplified a little more, it would be a lot easier to get through the book. And another issue I had with this is that it was more like a college thesis. So again, like I said, the writing was not very easy to get through, and the title of the book itself is slightly misleading, or maybe I'm the only one who was misled, I don't know. But the title is How to Do Nothing, but it's not about like digital minimalism or how to unplug from social media, etc., which is what I thought the book would be about. But nevertheless, it was a very interesting read, and I would rate this book 3.5 out of 5. The second book is Normal People by Sally Rooney. This book has been gaining a lot of attention over the last year, and I am also a little bit conflicted about this book because I'm a huge fan of the writing style. I think it's so fresh, it's so like easy going, and you want to read the book the more you get into it. So I'm a big fan of the writing for sure. So what this book is about is it follows two people, Connell and Marianne, in Dublin as they go through the end of their high school phase and then go to college. So it's very realistic. A thing I love about this book is how it shows that normal people are really messed up, and it shows a very real side to college students, and as a college student you kind of like relate. So that part is very cool. But what I didn't like about this book is the fact that it was a little difficult to empathize with the character, and the characters couldn't have a conversation if they had to save their lives. So that was very frustrating. Like a lot of the plots or the premises of the book would be solved if the two main characters would just have a real conversation with each other, which does not happen throughout this book. So you literally want to hit yourself on the wall because they can't just communicate. But that being said, I feel like that was intentional and it was meant to be written that way. So I can't criticize that too much. Another thing that I thought this book lacked is that they brought up a lot of premises, they brought up a lot of issues, but they didn't really solve or go into any one of them. A few of the issues were solved or resolved towards the end, but most of them were up to readers' interpretation, which I'm not a huge fan of. But overall, I'd still say that this is a great book and I would recommend it to friends to read. And so my rating would be like 3.7 out of 5. It's not like a 4 out of 5 because there is a book in the list of books I have today which is a 4 out of 5. So it's not as great as that, but it's definitely not 3.5, so 3.7 out of 5. The next book is Someday Someday Maybe by Lauren Graham. Lauren Graham plays Lorelai Gilmore on The Gilmore Girls, which if you know me, you know I love the show and I'm a huge Lauren Graham fan. So I will say that my review might be slightly biased because I do love her as a person and an actor and as a writer as well. So she's written 2 other books apart from this, and I have read one of the books, which is Talking as Fast as I Can. So what this book is about is basically it follows the main character Franny Banks, who is an aspiring actor who's given herself 6 months to break it in the show business, and if not, she will go back to her plan B that she set for herself. So it goes through the very realistic process of getting an agent, getting an audition, reading lines, mishaps during audition. So I felt the book was quite funny. It wasn't one of those rags to riches stories. It was real, it was relatable, it was very fast paced, which I love about her writing. And the book is also closely related to how Lauren Graham herself became an actor. So that element was also like very interesting to see in the book. I would say that my only issue with the book is that nothing significant really happens throughout. There are some small events that take place, but it feels like there wasn't anything that it was leading up to. But again, it was a very fun and easy read, very funny, and I would recommend this book, especially if you love Lauren Graham. But even otherwise, it was a great book. So I would rate this book again 3.7 out of 5. It was really good, but here and there, I feel like it lacked something to hold the readers. And yeah, I would recommend this especially if you are a fan of Gilmore Girls or Parenthood or of Lauren Graham in general. The next book is Less by Andrew Sean Greer. So what this book is about is basically the main character, Arthur Less. He receives a wedding invitation from his ex-boyfriend, and he doesn't want to say no, but he doesn't want to say yes and go either. So what he does is he accepts a bunch of other invitations for events, for readings, for interviews, since he is an author, and he decides to RSVP saying he would love to be at the wedding, but he can't go because he's traveling the world. And so what this book is mainly about is his adventures as he goes throughout the world. So he goes from Germany to Japan to India to Morocco to France. So it's kind of like an eat, pray, love vibe to this entire book. The writing again was great. I didn't find it to be like laugh out loud funny, while I read a lot of reviews where they were just completely impressed by the comical aspect to the writing. But still, it was a very interesting and endearing read. And at each of the chapters, they would reveal something about his past relationships, about his personality. So I really loved that element to this book as well. And the ending also was very endearing, and I loved some of just the values that were kind of shown in the book through the conversations that people had. And I would say that this was probably the best book that I read of all the books this month. And I would give this a 4 out of 5. The last book of this month is I've Never Been Unhappier by Shaheen Bhatt. This is a memoir of Shaheen Bhatt, who is Mahesh Bhatt's daughter and Alia Bhatt's sister. And it talks about her journey with depression and how she overcame her depression. And okay, first of all, trigger warning, depression, anxiety, talking about mental illness. So if that's something that triggers you, please click out of the video or skip to the next section. And it didn't kind of add another story of a love story or a success story. It's plain about dealing with mental illness. While sometimes I felt like it was a little difficult to read the book because it was so real and so raw, and a lot of it was also very relatable, I'd still say it was great because it is taking a step in destigmatizing mental health and talking about mental health. And a lot of people think that if you're rich and famous, you don't have the right to feel depressed, which is so wrong. You can't gatekeep depression or mental illness from someone else. So she talks about how it was also very difficult because she was a famous person, she was a rich person, and a lot of people were like, what do you even have to be depressed about? You have everything. So I kind of like how she explained that part of her life as well. And there are a lot of like diary entries and letters also given in the book, so that was also quite nice to read. And yeah, it's very difficult to rate this book because it's someone's real experience and it doesn't feel right to rate this, but I would definitely recommend it if you want to learn more about depression or you just want to read about mental illness. So that was all the books that I read in May. I'm really happy that I could read 5 books this month. I've never done that ever before, and I feel quite good that I'm getting back to reading as well. If you've read any of these books, let me know how you feel about them. And if you have any book suggestions, let me know because I'll probably read them next month. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.